Hello, my name's AD, this is my garage and that's my driveway as always, and today we're doing some basic maintenance in the way of replacing discs and pads on the Clio IV RS. So it's a pretty simple job. What I'll do is I'm going to probably time lapse this and put over the top of what you need to do, but it is very basic. But that's for me. I've done loads of these for years and years and years. For someone starting out, it could be quite daunting to do. So what I'll do is I'll run through how to do a disc and pad change on there. I'll also show you a DIY setup for doing one-man brake bleeding, which I found quite successful over the years. I've had no issues with it. It means that you can do the job on your own rather than having a separate person in the car pumping the brakes and you bleeding them off afterwards. As part of this, I am going to flush all the brake fluid through with some ATE Type 200. It's not a track car, it's a road car, but it's nice to have some decent fluid in there, but nothing too excessive or extreme. Equally, I've gone for Brembos' new X series of pads. Seen here, they're Brembo's own uprated fast road pads, or that's what all the bump says about them anyway. But yeah, we're going to crack on. We'll get the fronts done. The rears, I'll show you those as well, just to show you how the pads fit in. It is a really simple job. Anyone can do it with some basic tools. Don't be afraid, but just make sure you do the job properly. You don't want any leaks on this because, you know, effectively you'll, you know, not have any working brakes afterwards. So disclaimer, do this if you're confident. If you're not, that's fine. I don't want to be involved in any sort of action where you watched this video and then said, oh, I watched this video and he told me how to do it and that's why I've died. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't make the video. Don't know. I'll show you the tooling for it anyway. Right, let's crack on. This is where we're at so far. 17 mils for my wheel nuts. I've got extended ones because I run spacers. Might be 19 on your car. Just flicked out the anti-rattle clip from the front there. We've also done is open the brake reservoir because we're now going to push this brake pad back, and we have slackened off the retaining bolts. I'm pretty sure it's a 7 mil Allen key in there, but I've popped a T45 hex bit in there. They're not massively tight at all, and that's just unwound them. So I'm just going to push back the piston now. The reservoir's open so that any fluid can push back up the lines and not cause us an issue. That'll then allow me to pull this off, take the disc off, new disc on, and then new pads, and do it in reverse. I'm going to give it a little clean as we go. So on the outside the disc was looking pretty good. On the inside it's cruddy as hell. Looks like it's had decent pads put in at some point, or new pads put in. You can see they're massively lipped on the inside edge. So from the outside, this disc actually looks pretty okay and usable. On the inside it's chewed up, so that's why we're replacing them. Right, going through what you need. So as I said, you need like a 7 mil. I used a T45 to undo these two, which takes the caliper carrier off, or the caliper off. Then you need an 18 mil to unwind the bolts out the back there to take the caliper carrier off. And then you need a T40 Torx bit to take the brake disc retaining screws off. I've given mine a clout with a hammer, which I always do first, just to free off anything, and then they just wound up easy as you like. Yeah, it's actually pretty easy. What's this, 10 minutes aside, corner on the driveway, even quicker in the garage really. What I'm going to do is going to go around, give this a quick clean up best I can, and then refit the new stuff. you go, nice and simple. Wasn't hard to do. Even the amateur mechanic can do that, which I am. And yeah, I'm not going mental with cleaning everything up. It's a daily driver. A little cleaner than it was. New set of discs, new set of pads. We'll bleed them up in a bit. And yeah, you have to go through a bedding procedure to get these set up again. It's in that book for the pads themselves. But yeah, as long as you follow that, you shouldn't have any problems at all. But yeah, new discs, new pads on the front of the Clio IV RS, easy peasy. I've used a T45, 17 to get the wheels off. I've used a big screwdriver to push the piston back, 18mm to get the caliper carrier bolts out, and now I've just nipped it all back up. Oh, and what was that, T40 for the front there, for the disc retaining screws. So I hope that helps someone. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to set myself up for brake bleeding and show you that. One-man brake bleeder. All you need is a long piece of hose, an empty clear bottle, some old brake fluid, and obviously the new brake fluid that you're going to put in the reservoir. Right, so I'm not sure how well you can see all this, but there's some old brake fluid in a clear pot there. We've got a long piece of tube off the bleed nipple on the caliper. On these ones it's a 9mm, and what you need to make sure is you've got old fluid in there, right, and that pipe stays underneath, and that this underneath the fluid level, and what that will allow you to do is bleed this on your own. So you can actually just crack this open. That's open now. What we're also going to do is top up the reservoir with fresh fluid. You can see it's pretty empty there, so let me go get some. Well, it's not empty, it's half down, but we're going to fill it right up. So we've got some AT Type 200. I don't trust myself pouring into there very easily, so I'm going to use this to get some in. And fill this right to the top. Oops. Okay, we dribbled a little. We dribbled a lot. It's not good. Right, let's get this off from the car. That was a bit of a boo-boo, wasn't it? What I'll do is I'll pour some water down there in a bit to make sure it's not left eating through anything. Brake fluid can be quite corrosive. And what I suggest you do next is get yourself a pen, marker pen, anything. Hopefully this one works. So remember, we've got this bleed nipple open. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark on there the fluid level. You can just about see it, and hopefully you can. And then all I'm going to do is going to go to the car and I'm going to slowly pump the pedal up and down, and effectively it's just going to force the fluid through. Any air is going to come out and get trapped or get pushed out, but if any fluid was to move backwards, it's under the fluid level, so it's only ever going to suck brake fluid back in, which means you basically can't suck air back up into the system like you sometimes used to do. This is very simple. This was shown to me by a chap called Ben Oils, actually, many years ago, because he got fed up with me probably ringing him up and asking him to come around and bleed the brakes with me on my cars. So yeah, this allows you to pump fluid through, but no air will return back in the line. So I'm going to go do that now. All being well, There we go, you can see we've probably put about 10 ml of fluid into there, which means clean fluid's coming through. We got no airlocks there. It's gotten some fresh fluid right to the caliper. We'll do the same on all 4 corners. But yeah, that's it. That's how you do a one-man bleed, brake bleed. And what you do after that is you just come along and nip everything back up. There you go. Simple as. One person needed. You can do it on your own. And it works perfectly every time for me. So I hope that helps someone. Right, I'm going to wrap up the rest of the car, which is the other side. I'm going to do a rear as well. It's a lot simpler on the rear, but you could do that bleeding process at any corner of the car. I think officially you're meant to start at the furthest point away from the ABS pump or from the master cylinder, but this system's fully filled anyway, so what we do is just flushing out some of the crap, getting some fresh stuff in there. But I hope it helps someone, and I'm going to get this wrapped back up now before the rain comes, because it's very grey, and I'll put some miles on it and bed the new pads in, and hopefully they're slightly better than the standard ones, though I'm not actually sure which ones were fitted in this. But yeah, it's just getting it ready for Clio Sport Festivals coming up in a couple of months. I'm going to do half-day track day. It's just preventative maintenance more than anything. But yeah, like I said, hope that helps. If you could like and subscribe, that'd be great. And I'll keep popping up little bits and bobs for maintenance on these. I've done the same with spark plugs, oil and filter change. I've actually got to change this out very soon, so I'll put a guide up on how to do that once I figure out how to do it myself. But yeah, hope that helps, and I'll catch you all in a bit. So here we are on the rear, load simpler than the front. What you've got is 2 13 mils here. All we're going to do is go ahead and do them. You're going to make sure that the front wheel's chocked and the handbrake is off. So we're just going to unwind these. You might need to put, I think it's a 15 or a 17 on there to stop it spinning. And what we'll be able to do is take the whole top off and remove the brake pads there. So we're just going to go ahead and do that now. Starting to spin. Looks like a 15. Simple as that. There we go, there's the caliper out. And what you have to do is you're going to have to wind this back. Obviously, same as the fronts, we've taken the reservoir cap off. You can get a wind back tool for that. As long as everything's okay, you should be able to just wind that back with a pair of grips. Get the pads out. they've been in there a little while, so we're going to get the tappy stick for that. While you're in here also, just make sure that your sliders move nicely in and out. Again, you can take them out, clean them and grease them if you need to. These move really nicely, so we won't worry about that. I'm not sure if you can see this, maybe in the sunlight. These Brembo X pads look to be a little bit sintered. You see the gold flecks in there? But yeah, anyway, clean up, same as you do on the front, a little bit of copper slip, and then refit. So these have got a little pad, sticky thing on there, there's a little rubber pad on there as well. Just pull that off, but you can see the part number there for the backs. Same on that one. And they're in, and then what you can do, drop this back over the top. It should go in nicely if you've pushed the piston back far enough, which I haven't, so I'm going to wind it back a little bit further and then drop it on. So once you've wound it back enough, you should be supplied with fresh bolts with Loctite already on them. They're going to go back in here. We're going to wind them up, nip them up nice, reattach the handbrake. I did clip that off a second ago. And then we're going to go through the one-man bleed procedure again. From here, make sure we get some fresh fluid. So there we pumped through quite a bit of fluid. It looked quite murky when it's coming through, so keep pumping. I did top up the reservoir as well. Oh, need to revisit that. So make sure that those are under there. So let's quickly whip that back off. There we go. So make sure that these clips are underneath the caliper itself. But yeah, one man blood, new pads in, not much to it really. Again, to change the discs as well, you've got to take the carrier off, which is probably, I don't know, it's probably not an 18 on this, actually looking at that one. But yeah, you just undo the hub nut, pull the disc off, new disc on. To be honest, where the pad actually runs, these discs are okay. Edges are a little crusty, but they're perfectly fine. But yeah, that's how you do front and rear brake pads and front discs on a Clio IV RS. I hope that helps you. If there's anything else in particular you want to see me do on this, let me know and I'll try and video it. You know, just some people like to start spannering if they don't know how to do it, save themselves a little bit of money. I do it because I'm cheapskate and I don't like paying anyone any money to do any work on my cars. But yeah, pretty simple with basic tools. Hope that helps you out. If you give me a like and a subscribe, that'd be great. Really appreciate it. And yeah, looking under here, it's a little bit starting to age a little bit, but yeah, thanks very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.